Welcome back to AI for That. Today we're here with Vladislav Severa, the founder and CEO of KNOWDROIDS, with an experienced background in business and several startups. Vlad, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and hi everyone.
I want to start with what is KNOWDROIDS? Just give us an overview of what you and your team are building.
Yep, KnowDroid started in the summer of 2023, almost immediately after AI autonomous agents became existing and became a thing. And we are building agents for custom needs of our industrial customers. And more recently, we went also into creating agentic products as a software as a service. And probably the peak of what we are trying to do is agentic agents builder, which we are calling Droid Factory. So there's the culmination of the effort and a lot work in progress yet at the moment.
Got it. So it's a variety of things. So you build custom agents for big industrial companies. The second one was tell me the second one. The third one was agents building agents, the Droid Factory, and the second one.
Single purpose products, as we are serving a number of large clients, we see the repeating patterns and repeating needs. And for the repeating needs, we are trying to catch the common denominator and create a product-like solution, which wouldn't need to be recoded again. So that's the products most of the time.
Yeah. What's the most common need that you see where you're creating an agent product?
Maybe I'll be even a little bit more specific. We are not doing agents for completely everything, but we are having some sweet spots. And actually, two pillars I would maybe highlight. One of the pillars is what I call intelligence pillar. And that's understanding documents, understanding knowledge, understanding information, and deriving sort of an action or decision out of it. So it can manifest itself in market intelligence or in research or in extracting important information or knowledge from documents and then handling the information accordingly. So that's one of the pillars. And the manifestation of this can be that you may have long contract with a lot of amendments and you really need to understand which of the amendments is valid in place at the moment. What are the terms according to the latest amendment? And maybe you need to take an action depending on the validity of the amendments of the loan contract. And the action can be accounting or finance, sort of entry or decision, or it can be a legal action, but you need to understand the complex document first. So there's document intelligence, and we are a lot active in that. And another manifestation of the intelligence is sort of outward looking. Imagine that you're a fund, you're having a number of portfolio companies, they have their competitors. You're also having a number of companies on the radar, and you need to constantly watch what's actually happening across the portfolio of entities of interest. And for that, you need a powerful tool, which is sifting the knowledge from outside, from web, from LinkedIn, from news, etc. And then you need to make a sense of the knowledge, which is really comprehensive, large, multi-stream. So that's the outwards or maybe market-looking intelligence. That's in the intelligence pillar. And second pillar is finance. My background was in quantitative and corporate finance, so I sort of have a sense for the CFO agent does. And I also have a sense for the suffering of the CFO. So we try to create tools or actually build upon the intelligence layer and create tools which are useful for finance functions in companies. So that's the second pillar where we are focusing it.
And tell us more about the Droid Factory, how you are creating, is it agents building agents?
Agents building agents, yeah, that's the right description.
Walk us through the vision here.
For a long while, through which we were building the custom agents, we obviously found the repeating patterns. So we try to capture them, as I mentioned. And also recently, you may have noticed that in AI, many things are going meta, that you're hearing about automation of automation, API of APIs. And quite naturally, we've got to the stage where we started to think that our custom-built agents are nice and fine-tuned and human, polished, but we need to speed up the development cycle. And speeding up needs to have really agents helping us with building agents. So agents building agents, that's the motto Droid Factory.
Okay, so you were explaining the Droids Factory. We're in this trend where we're moving to more of a meta automation for automation, so wanting to build faster, better agents. So tell us, and if you want, even show us a taste of what you're building.
So first I will say briefly, and then I will show briefly as well. So building agents, probably intuitively the concept is clear. And if I should compare it to something what exists already on the market, in applications like Cursor, for example, you have AI agents or assistants which help you coding. So at an extreme end of it, you can just prompt and explain what application you would want to get, and the agents code the application for you. The application may not be fully fine-tuned and etc. You need to polish it, but otherwise the agents do it for you, or the heavy lifting. And in very similar manner, we would want to end up with the Droids Factory, that we wouldn't have an agent which would do everything what you wish, but the agent would create for you the agent which you may wish, with the tools and with the equipment and with the design and task specificity, etc. So that's what we are trying to do with Droids Factory. And I will show you briefly what I mean. Yeah, and keep asking.
Great. Yeah, let's see it. And as you bring it up, I'm curious, as I imagine many people are, is there technical background needed, or is this a no-code, no expertise platform?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is the work in progress, or the experimental version of where we are at the moment. And I will show you how in the sort of the classical way you would build an agent with low code or no code platform. You would get a canvas like this, and you would start with adding graphical elements. One of them you could call a researcher, and you would assign it the language model of choice, let's say GPT-4o. You would give it some instructions, and you can equip it tools. So for example, one of the tools can be access to archive. And when you're happy with that, you would create a node. Now I am in human building agent, not in agent building agent. So this way you would keep adding the nodes. The other would be maybe writer, Again, OpenAI would be the LLM of choice. I would give it some instruction. You are scientific writer. This one doesn't need any tools, so it would be a standalone node. Then you would connect them in a sort of drag and drop manner. And this way you would be constructing the agentic workflow, or not necessarily a workflow, but more elaborate agentic topology or architecture. And at the end, you would put a prompt and you would test the application. So this, what you see, is agentic designer. And behind the scenes, when you're happy with the design, you hand over the task to agentic assembler, which is creating really the runtime application for you and then making it run. So this is the classical way. But if I would go the agentic way, I would start differently, and I will show you the difference now. I will create a new canvas for the agent, canvas 4, and I will make it fully prompted or fully agentic. And now I will show you what's the difference from the low-code platform. Here you do not drag and drop anything, but you express your wish. And to save you from writing long prompts, I have saved a couple of prompts already in advance. So here, as an example prompt, I have one, build me an agent which will take a medical topic from the user, will inspect PubMed and archive as a repository of articles for the most recent articles on hallmarks of aging. So this is the wish of the user. That's the prompt here. And now I press the button, and there is no drag and drop at the moment because the agent behind the scenes builds the application for me. So this is the resulting application. And here I can start again editing the design of the agent. I can edit via the drag and drop, or I can continue editing that with the prompting. So that's the difference. And when I equip the application with the AI secrets, because otherwise it wouldn't work. So here I will place the language model secret, and here I also need to place a language model secret in order the application works. Now the agent should be more or less ready. I didn't make any debugging, so hopefully it will work. And now I will raise a question. I am interested in the latest on hallmarks of aging. And this is a random topic. I obviously could have chosen any other topic. And I will let the application run. And it failed to run at the moment, so probably I'm having somewhere a debugging error. But the spirit of the application is probably clear. I am not dragging and dropping anything. I am just instructing the application how the agent should be built or what's the purpose of the agent. And the application does the heavy lifting for me. And up to me is then the fine-tuning, debugging, and other things. At the moment, the debugging is still quite involved activity, but we are continuing towards equipping the Droid Factory even with agentic debugging. Again, in similar manner as in Cursor, you can get an application which then fails in runtime, but you have assistants or agents which help you to debug the application and to make it flawless. So in very similar way, behind the scenes here will be also a debugging agent, which will help you to avoid any failures at the runtime. So this is the main difference, and between drag and drop, low code, and between the agentic no code.
Wow.
And then there are more things. If you want me to sound some, I can.
Sure. Keep going.
There are fantastic things in the space of optimizing agents. People are building agents. You see now that agents can start building agents, but you rarely get an agent which is optimal in the sense of being the quickest to deliver the task, or being the least expensive to deliver the task, or being the fittest to deliver the task. And there are not so many ways how to optimize an agent, just that it's really fit for purpose, or the fittest for purpose. So in my dream and the vision beyond the first curve, on the road, would be also having an optimizer for the agents, and a genetic one, because when we think of the parameters of an agent, the parameter is described by the language models used, by the topology of the architecture, by the system prompts, by the toolset which is available. And all of this is actually charting a DNA for the agent. And as soon as you can cast anything like a DNA, you can also genetically optimize. Now, I mean in silico, or in computation, genetically optimized, not in the biological sense of the word, but the analogy is very close. You actually can start optimizing generations of agents as soon as you can describe them by the DNA. So we found a way how to describe agents by a DNA. Now the DNA evolution is waiting for us having the solid first, working version of Droid Factory. But as soon as we are there, the genetic optimizer would be the next step. And that would be a nice one, Then you wouldn't just get an agent which is so good to deliver something, but you would get an agent at the end which would be really lean, really quick, really cheap, really fit for the purpose. And that would be nice thing to have, saving a lot of costs, saving time. So that would be the next step. So this is about the Droid Factory.
Technical person, I could take that software and just say, I want an agent for ABC. They would understand that, create it, debug it, find the optimal fit, and then that agent would be ready for production, ready for use already.
Absolutely, and would be saving the cost or saving the time in sort of an optimal way, which would be at the end of the genetic optimization journey. So that's like the ultimate goal, and multiple stages between now and then. Nice roadmap, which I myself, I am enjoying that.
You're seeing around the bends. I love it. Let me ask you just a couple of questions before we wrap up. So, what were you noticing? What was signaling to you in the market that this was the moment to not just create custom AI agents, but to shift to the Droids Factory and play on the meta level?
Yeah, first competition, of course, as the competition doesn't sleep. And obviously there are custom AI agents builders, but then there are also the mass production agent builders. And when we want to serve also someone else than the largest corporates, we need to go into SMEs, and SMEs will not be equipped to let you make custom-made agent for large budgets and etc. So the agents builders or building platforms are necessity. And when we are doing that, then let's do it thoroughly. Let's not make any other second or thousands, drag and drop application, but let's make proper agentic application. So that was probably the market signal here.
Yeah. So you realize that in some ways the constraints of small and medium enterprises forced you to create something that would work for them, because
I wouldn't say force, but invited. That would be the better word.
It was a creative constraint, I'll call it. It forced you to think about what would work for that context and more broadly.
Yep.
I love it. I'm curious, how big is your team now? How many humans are on your team?
We are 15 humans, probably double that number of agents, about 15 humans.
Yeah, and just share a little bit about how you use agents internally within the company alongside the 15 humans.
Yeah. As an example, we developed also our Oven Deep Researcher. Deep Researcher is sort of agentic application. You probably have seen some from Perplexity or from OpenAI. But you can have a really specific one for your needs. And probably the development and evolution of Deep Researchers didn't end up yet. What I am seeing on the market is maybe good for sort of typical user, but not good for any user. So we developed one for ourselves. Our benchmark for a long while was Gemini Deep Researcher. So for a while when we were developing, I was preferring Gemini. Now ours is simply above that benchmark, at least for the purposes we are having within KNOWDROIDS. So that agent is helping us a lot, preparing pricing comparisons, competition, benchmarks, many things which otherwise would be really hard to get our hands on. This one is doing. And then our team also developed something what we call dataset extractor. You can imagine that for many purposes, for machine learning or even fine-tuning of language models, you need to have a dataset, upon which you would fine-tune or train. Getting custom dataset is expensive. There are specialist companies on the market who are doing that. We are having an application that's an agent who creates a dataset upon a request. Fantastic application. Again, something what I guess is specific to KNOWDROIDS. This one in particular, we also think of how to maybe spread beyond just the perimeter of KNOWDROIDS. It can be handy for many other players. So these are two examples, and I could bring you more.
I love it. So there's some. It sounds like quite complex tasks that would be exhausting. That would, if not impossible to do for a human, that you guys have created your own agents to
help us with it.
Enable both your view of what's happening in the market and your ability to build internally.
Yeah. And building internally, to be honest, we are also using other companies' agents. So Cursor and C-Line and similar applications, you would see them all over the place at KNOWDROIDS as well. Of course, we are not solely relying on our own inventions. We are also using the other parties' inventions.
What's one way that you love seeing your team, your engineers, or others using Cursor?
Very good experience with that. And then different people are having different coding and building habits. So some of our people tend to Cursor, some of the others are looking at some other applications. Also, it a lot depends on what the prior development kit you were used to. If you were coming from the angle of the studio, then Cursor is, for example, a natural way to go. If you were coming from, I don't know, handling most of the time command line and not being interested in anything else, you would probably grab different tool then. But Cursor is good one, and we are using that widely.
Yeah. Let me ask you one final question for now, Vlad. You are now in the startup space, but you spent a few decades at EY, as you described it, a big ship that cannot change direction quickly. As you think about AI adoption within KNOWDROIDS and as you maybe start working with smaller companies instead of large corporates, what would you say is the biggest difference in what you're observing in AI adoption from smaller companies versus bigger companies? Not necessarily better or worse, but what's the biggest difference that you see in AI adoption by size?
In the large companies, you can see two directions of the adoption. One is, I will call it top-down, that you have some strategic applications you want to have implemented across your entire operation. And for that, you need probably custom development, but also for that, you need a budget. And the large companies kind of are having the budget. And then the other direction is bottom up, that people start using the next, copilot of their choice, and it's a bit spontaneous, penetration of the applications into the enterprise. That's a natural way as well and should be supported. But large corporates kind of are having both of the directions. SMEs most of the time would probably prefer the bottom up because they do not have the large budgets for anything custom made. So I see the large corporations doing nice things and interesting things in strategic, developments and projects and re-engineerings, of their operations. SMEs need more like ready-made application which can serve straight away. No long lead time, no long waiting for when that's ready. And even that underlines the importance of Droid Factory, where you can sit by that yourself and create your agent in a couple of minutes. It will not be yet the fine-tuned and really tailor-made as you would expect from a team of humans at the moment, but good enough and quick enough for the needs of an SME. So these are the two differences, I think.
Awesome. Vlad Severa from KNOWDROIDS. If listeners want to find you, how and where can they find you in the Droid Factory?
Well, the easiest is to send me an email, probably, and my email is natural one, vladislav.severa@knowdroids.ai. And also, anyone can connect me over LinkedIn, where I'm having an active account, or our website, which is really no-brainer, knowdroids.ai, is also open to visitors. And there is a way and form how to contact me and our team. So these would be the three easy ways to reach me out. And for Droid Factory, even if that's in development, we are having some testing, implementations already with real life users and customers. So if anyone would be interested in trying even the early versions and even the experimental ones, we would be happy to.
Beautiful. All right. Vladislav Severa, thank you so much for your time.
Jack, thanks a lot. And the best of luck to you and AI in the world.